Hey there, Dr. Hammer. This is my review of the movie Unbroken. So basically, it's about the life of Louis Zamperini, who was an Olympic athlete. He fought in World War II. He survived out at sea for 47 days, only to be captured by the Japanese and be treated like a slave in their camps. So the movie immediately starts with him in the airplane right in the middle of the action, but you have no idea who the protagonist is or what his background story is. And it isn't until one of the first flashbacks, like 10 minutes into the film, about him being in church and how the pastor is literally delivering a sermon about light and dark, and the archetype of light and dark is pretty obvious. He literally says God created one light to rule over the day and another light to rule over the dark, and it also serves a biblical illusion. And another biblical illusion in the film is when he's holding up that piece of wood over his head, and he basically serves as a Jesus figure. But they're pretty overt about this archetype. And another flashback is when he's a kid and he's getting beat up by 5 bullies, and even though he's clearly outnumbered and he doesn't stand a chance, he still stands back up and starts fighting. So you see immediately that he's pretty unbroken, and you pretty much are left to assume, and that the foreshadow is clearly there, that this is just going to keep happening. It's going to keep being recurring, and it happens just so much throughout the film. You pretty much expect it every single time. There's also a lot of cliches in the film. One being from his brother. He tells him if you can take it, you can make it. Or another one is a moment of pain is worth a lifetime of glory. They're just so overt about him being unbroken. I actually had not heard about the story of Louis Zamperini before. So when I saw that he fought in the war and that he was also a runner, I immediately thought Forrest Gump. I just thought it was funny. But a lot of these flashbacks, they seem kind of underdeveloped, while the main plot of the film just kind of dragged on. But I actually enjoyed the storyline of the film. But the way they placed those flashbacks kind of just seemed unfitting. It kind of just seemed like they just threw it in there to further prove their point about how unbroken he is, and just to give some sort of background. And you can tell at the end of the movie that director Angelina Jolie was just trying to get an emotional response out of that audience by just all these flashbacks and just showing how unbroken he is. And by the end of the film, they show him getting married, and him running in Japan at the age of 80, and just his life and his death and all that stuff. And I don't know, I just feel like it was kind of cliche, and it didn't really stand out. The film was pretty entertaining, but it could have been done a lot better. The plot and the characters were a bit underdeveloped, and it was basically like any other patriotic war movie. They definitely could have done a lot better of a job at developing the plot. Storyline was mostly fine, but if I were to rate this film, I'd probably give it a 6.5 out of 10.